Oh, okay, weird. So weird. Okay. Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. How's your Friday and weekend or summer going? Let me know if you got any amazing plans. Maybe you're traveling as well. So, yes, I still cannot go live on Facebook. I have no idea why. It's been 60 days. I'm not sure if I have to wait 30 more days. Okay, maybe 20, 21 more days. Anyway, back to the topic. Four fat loss wins that are really just water weight, or four things that make you lose water weight but not body fat. So if you're hopping on, hashtag here, so I know you're joining me live and catching the replay, or if you're watching, okay, right, yeah, I forgot. This is the replay. Haha, because I can't go live. Oh my god. Okay, if you're watching this on a replay, hashtag replay, and give me a like if you've ever stepped on the scale, seen it drop 2 or 3 pounds overnight, and thought, okay, yes, whatever I did yesterday clearly worked. Because today we need to talk about that, and I'm about to lovingly ruin a few of your favorite fat loss hacks. Because sometimes the scale drops, but you do not magically melt body fat overnight. I know that sounds rude, but somebody had to say it, right? So, because a lower number on the scale does not automatically mean you burned body fat, and a higher number does not automatically mean you gained body fat as well, right? It can be bloating and other things, right? Or inflammation, right? If, for example, if you work out too much, your weight can definitely go up because working out is definitely breaking your muscles and you get more inflamed, especially if you work out too much, right? The scale measures your total body weight, right? Not just fat. It includes water, muscle, glycogen, food still being digested, waste, your bones, your organs, and yes, body fat. So when your weight changes quickly, especially within 24 to 72 hours, water is often involved, right? This matters because I see like smart women making major decisions based on temporary scale changes. They cut carbs for 3 days. The scale drops 4 pounds. They think, okay, carbs were definitely the problem. Then they eat more carbs again, and then the scale increases. Now they think, oh, I ruined everything. No, you did not gain 4 pounds of fat because you ate some rice. Your body is doing normal body things. However, the problem is not your body, it is misunderstanding the data. And when you misunderstand the data, you start making emotional decisions instead of strategic ones. This is when women start cutting food lower, right? Adding more cardio, maybe adding even more steps, avoiding sodium, sweating themselves into another dimension, and celebrating dehydration like it is a transformation. We are not doing that, not anymore. So, for anyone who is new here, I'm Coach Pam. I help high achieving women over 35 stop starting over and build a lean, strong, confident body that actually lasts. And through my base method, we identify exactly what phase your body needs so you can stop guessing, stop dieting harder every time the scale acts dramatic, and start making decisions that create results that work and stick. Because you do not need another random fat loss trick. You need clarity, context, and you need to know what your body is actually telling you. So, let's get into it. So number one is a sauna session. A sauna can make the scale go down, but that does not mean the sauna melted off your body fat. I know, I used to believe it too, right? You sit there, you're dripping, your skin is glowing, you feel lighter, you step on the scale afterwards and you weigh less. It feels very productive. It feels like the fat cells should be packing their bags and leaving your body immediately, but most of the immediate scale decrease is fluid loss from sweating. You lost water. You did not sit there and sweat out 2 pounds of body fat. And once you drink fluids and properly rehydrate, much of that weight can return, right? And that's not failure, that is hydration. Your body is supposed to replace the fluid it loses. That is why sweating more won't help you lose fat as well, or working out in the heat or training in the heat won't help you lose body fat as well. Because sweating is not the same as burning fat. A sweaty body does not automatically equal a fat burning body. Sweat is your body's cooling system. It is not fat crying. I know that saying is cute, but biologically your fat is not sobbing into your sports bra. So what can saunas be good for? This does not mean sauna sessions are useless, right? You may enjoy them for relaxation, temporary stress relief, recovery rituals, to have less inflammation, right? Feeling warm and loose and personal enjoyment. Feeling less puffy as well, right? It also helps with bloating, I believe. But use the sauna because you enjoy the sauna. Do not use it as proof that you burned meaningful body fat, and use it if you want to be less inflamed as well. So weighing yourself immediately after a sauna is almost useless if you are trying to assess body fat progress. You are measuring acute dehydration, not your transformation. If you weigh yourself, compare measurements taken under similar conditions, like in the morning, after using the bathroom, before eating and drinking water, even wearing similar clothing or none, right? I like to be naked while doing it, using the same scale on the same surface. And the more consistent your weighing conditions are, the more useful your trend becomes. Number 2, cutting out carbs. When you suddenly cut out carbs, the scale can drop quickly, sometimes very quickly, and that can make low-carb diets feel magical during the first week, even 2 weeks. You cut bread, pasta, reduce rice, you stop eating potatoes. 3 days later, the scale drops. Now you are thinking, wow, carbs were making me fat. Not necessarily. Your body stores carbs as glycogen, which is energy, in your muscles and liver. And glycogen is stored with water. When you dramatically reduce carbs, your glycogen stores decrease. As some of that stored glycogen is used, some of the water stored alongside it is also released. So the scale drops. Some body fat may also be lost if you are eating fewer calories overall. But that dramatic early loss is just a significant portion can be water, right? So when you add carbs back in, the scale may increase again. That does not automatically mean you regained body fat. Your body may simply be restoring glycogen and the water stored with it. And yeah, that's not a bad thing, right? Stored glycogen helps fuel your training. It can help your muscles look fuller. It can support performance, recovery, and carbs are not sneaking into your bedroom at night and personally sabotaging your goals. The issue is your overall intake, your food choices, your portions, your consistency, and whether your nutrition matches your current goal and phase. And so the truth is, but cutting carbs can make your scale look impressive before your physique has meaningfully changed. It is giving great opening weekend. We still need to see but we still need to see whether the movie has a strong ending. A dramatic first week drop means very little if you cannot sustain the approach. Your workout feels awful, you start craving everything in sight, and you regain the same weight 2 weeks later. So the goal is to not So the goal is not to manipulate the scale for 72 hours. It's to build a leaner, stronger body you can maintain, right? So instead of panicking whenever carbs change your weight, track your carbs intake with your weigh-ins. You may start noticing patterns. For example, I ate more carbs yesterday, trained legs, and the scale increased. Of course, that is context, right? Not catastrophe. You can also keep your carbohydrate intake relatively consistent from day to day when you want cleaner scale data. You don't need to eat you do not need to eat the exact same foods every day, but honestly it helps. But enormous swings from almost no carbs Monday to an all-out feast Saturday, or even not just eating 1 or 2 times a day and then eating a lot, like let's say Wednesday or Thursday or even the weekend, can produce larger fluctuations that make your progress harder to interpret. Number 3, a very sweaty workout. The workout that leaves a human shaped. Wait. The freak? Yeah, number 3, a very sweaty workout. The workout that leaves a human-shaped sweat angel on the gym floor? Yes, you may weigh less after that, but again, much of that immediate difference is fluid loss. The hotter the room, the heavier your clothes, the more intensely you sweat. More water you may temporarily lose, but that does not automatically mean you burned more body fat than you would have during a less sweaty workout. This is why working out in extreme heat is not a secret fat loss weapon. And wearing garbage bags, multiple hoodies, or waist trainers so you can sweat more is also not the way. Or wrapping your body in saran wrap. I know someone who did that. We are building a body. We are not trying to slow cook it, okay? Yeah, for sure, some people naturally sweat more than others. One woman can finish a challenging strength workout looking relatively dry. Another woman can warm up for 5 minutes and look like she just escaped the Titanic. That does not mean the second person burned more fat. Sweat rate is affected by things such as temperature, humidity, clothing, genetics, body size, fitness level, exercise intensity, hydration, and heat acclimation. And some people who are like for perimenopause or menopause may feel more heat, right? Because they're having hot flashes. So never judge the quality of your workout solely by how soaked you are afterwards. So, what does actually make a workout more effective? For body composition and like for toning up to getting the body you actually want, we care about things like, are you progressively getting stronger? Are you using appropriate resistance? Are you training with intention? Are you recovering? Are you maintaining good technique with your training? Are you building or preserving muscle? Is your program appropriate for your current phase, and can you repeat it consistently? That is much more of a standard than did my leggings become a swimming pool? Your post-workout weight is not a useful fat loss measurement. It can, however, give you a rough idea of how much fluid you lost. That is valuable for hydration, not for celebrating fat loss. And do not try to avoid drinking afterwards so you can keep lowering the weight. That is not discipline. That is dehydration wearing a wellness costume. Rehydrate, eat appropriately, and recover. Ever come out of like a hot yoga studio after an intense one, not like yin yoga, and you're just like shaking? Yeah, because you need to refuel and eat more and drink more water. The goal is not to be the lightest version of yourself for 20 minutes, right? It's to be the strongest, leanest, most energized version of yourself long term. And number 4 is cutting back on sodium. When you suddenly reduce sodium, your scale may also decrease, your fluid balance changes. Again, less scale weight does not automatically mean less body fat. And eating a salty meal can make your weight temporarily rise, right? Like even instant noodles, right? Restaurant food is a perfect example too, right? You go out Friday night, you enjoy dinner, Saturday morning the scale is up. Now you are standing naked in your bathroom questioning your entire existence. Relax. Restaurant meals often contain more sodium and carbohydrates and fats than your usual meals. That's why it's better to eat home-cooked food. You don't know what they're putting in their food, right? There also may be simply more food sitting in your digestive system. So, you didn't destroy months of progress with one meal. Your body is holding more total mass and possibly more fluid. That is different from gaining significant body fat overnight. Because the scale is not issuing moral judgments, it is not saying you ate fries, you have disappointed the council. It is reporting total weight. That is all. So do not overcorrect. Because this is where most women sometimes become their own worst enemy, right? The scale rises after a restaurant meal. So the next day, they skip breakfast, cut carbs, avoid sodium, add extra cardio, do even more steps, drink gallons of water, barely eat, promise to be good. And that reaction often creates more chaos than the restaurant meal itself. So the best response is usually much less dramatic. Just move on, right? Return to your normal structure. Eat balanced meals. Actually eat breakfast. Get your protein. Drink water normally. Move your body. Sleep. You don't have to, what do you call that? Make up for it. Yeah. And let your body regulate. No punishment required, right? And depending on the meal you had or how big you had, honestly, it takes like around, if you ate more than your usual intake, it can take like 2 to 3 days, maybe even a week for it to regulate. I remember I had dim sum with my family for Mother's Day. Oh my god, I think it took like a week to regulate my. Yeah. So here's an important sodium note. I'm not telling you sodium does not matter, because again, your individual sodium needs can depend on your health, medications, blood pressure, activity, climate, and how much you sweat. And someone with a medical condition or physician directed sodium restriction should follow their healthcare provider's guidance. But from a fat loss perspective, cutting sodium is not the same thing as creating fat loss. Like, it can change water balance, but it does not replace an effective nutrition strategy. So instead of chasing the lowest sodium intake possible, aim for greater consistency. Huge sodium swings can create bigger scale fluctuations. For example, very low sodium during the week, then several restaurant meals over the weekend, then panic on Monday. A more consistent intake often makes scale trends easier to interpret, and consistency gives you cleaner data. And the cleaner data leads to bigger decisions. However, now I do not want you to hear this and think water weight loss is bad. It is not bad. It is simply different from fat loss. You may lose water and fat at the same time. You may lose water without losing much fat. And you may lose fat while temporarily holding more water. That last one is important because sometimes you are making real progress, but the scale has not revealed it. Revealed it yet. Wait, let me pause this. You could be strength training harder, experiencing muscle soreness, eating more carbs, approaching your menstrual cycle, maybe sleeping poorly, and yes, sleeping poorly actually affects your weight. Especially if you sleep less hours, under more stress, digesting a larger meal, holding more food volume, consuming more sodium, and the scale can temporarily hide the last fat loss happening underneath. This is why with coaching, we look at trends, not emotional snapshots. One way in is a photograph. Your trend is the movie. Do not walk out of the theater after one frame and tell me you know the ending, right? So what are the two things you need for actual body fat loss? Now that you understand the difference, there are two big things to keep in mind when your goal is to lose body fat, not just manipulate water weight. Number one, you need an appropriate, consistent calorie deficit, and start at the lowest calorie deficit first, not the highest. So if you're eating currently, let's say 2,000 at maintenance, drop 150 calories and 15 grams of carbs, right? And the fat's not too low because body fat loss requires an energy deficit over time, right? And that means across a meaningful period, your body is using more energy than you are consuming. But notice the words I use: appropriate and consistent over time. Not starve yourself, slash your calories every Monday, live in a deficit for the next 6 years or even 1 year, add endless cardio, eat as little as humanly possible. Your deficit should be large enough to produce progress, but reasonable enough that you can still train effectively, eat enough protein, recover, function, sleep, think, yes, have a life, and maintain consistency. Because if your deficit is too huge, you're gonna have brain fog. Um, and you should always start at, like, let's say you're eating at 2,000 at midnight, you should be aiming for, let's say, 150 calories less. So that will be what, 1850, right? Start at the lowest risk before decreasing, so that's how you keep your calorie deficit long enough. Not start at like 1,600 and then your energy drops like huge and so many other things. You're gonna be starving. Because the most aggressive deficit is not automatically the best deficit. The best deficit is the one that produces progress without destroying your ability to follow through. And you should not, again, like I said, you should not stay in a deficit forever. You should be building first, right? A deficit is just short term. A calorie deficit is a phase. It is not a permanent personality. Remaining in a deficit indefinitely can make adherence, recovery, training, performance hunger management and long-term maintenance more difficult. And depending on the person, there may be times to lose fat, maintain, build muscle, improve performance, restore consistency, focus on recovery. And this is why I created the base method, because your body does not need the same strategy in every season. And that's why most women often get stuck, because every time progress slows, they assume they need to cut harder. Sometimes you need a deficit, sometimes you need to spend time at maintenance, sometimes you need to rebuild your foundation. That's why all these phases are really important. Yes, there's this deficit, there's time at maintenance, there's time to reverse diet, there's time to fuel your training and build more muscle before cutting more. So when you cut more muscle show, and you're, yeah. The thing is, knowing which phase creates the highest return right now. So, tracking your macros can be extremely helpful. It can show you how much you are actually eating, whether your protein is high enough, where portions may be creeping up, how weekends affect your weekly intake, whether your healthy meals fit your goals still, and whether you are under eating during the day and overeating at night. But tracking, again, is a tool. It is not the only possible method. You can also create structure using hand portions, repeatable meals, protein targets, yes, actual protein targets, meal templates, planned snacks, hunger and fullness awareness for sure. Consistent portions, regular progress reviews, and the goal is not to become emotionally dependent on an app unless you want to. Like I'm okay doing macros forever, honestly. I love being precise because you want to tone up, you want to be more precise, right? It's to create enough awareness and structure to make intentional decisions. Anyway, you can. So yes, you cannot sweat, sauna, detox, waist train, or salt restrict your way around your overall nutrition. The scale may temporarily cooperate, but your body composition will eventually expose the truth. And number two, stop basing your entire success on daily scale fluctuations. The scale can be useful, but it should not be the CEO of your emotional well-being, okay? If you weigh regularly, focus on the trend, not one day. You may weigh 3 or more times per week under similar conditions and calculate an average. Then compare this week's average, last week's average, and the past 4 weeks, your overall trend. Or even do it every day. So if you do it every day, add all of them up, divided by, like, let's say 7, and that's your average. And you can even know what's the lowest weight that week, right? This helps smooth out some of the daily noise. But the scale should still be not only be part of your progress dashboard. Track these signs too, like your waist and body measurements, right? Measure consistently, use the same landmarks, use similar conditions. Do not pull the tape tighter because you want a better number. We see you. Progress pictures, yes. Take front, side, back. Use the same location, similar lighting, similar clothing, similar posture, similar distance from the camera, and the same time of day when possible. Take them Don't take them every 3 hours, take them every day, or even every week, right? At the end of every week. Because body recomp can be subtle day to day and obvious over several weeks. Number 3 is how your clothes fit. Are your jeans fitting more comfortably? Is your waistband looser? Do your tops sit differently? Do you feel more confident getting dressed? Clothing can reveal changes the scale misses. Number 4, strength and performance. Are you lifting more, completing more reps, using better form? Recovering faster, feeling more capable. Building strength while your waist changes is powerful evidence that your body composition may be improving. Number 5, do you have more stable energy throughout the afternoon? Are you less dependent on caffeine? Are your workouts, are you lifting heavier? Do you feel more present in your life? Are you not crashing by, like, let's say 2 to 3 p.m.? The goal is not merely to occupy less space, it's to feel incredible in your body. And the last one is consistency. Are you following your plan more often? Do weekends feel easier? Can you eat at restaurants without spiraling? Are you returning to your structure after imperfect meals? That is progress and much more, right? Because a body transformation that cannot survive a Friday night is not a lifestyle yet. So, So, the four things that may make you lose water weight, not necessarily actual body fat, are number one, a sauna session. Number two, suddenly cutting carbs without a plan. Number three, a sweaty workout or exercising in the heat. Number four, suddenly reducing sodium. None of those things are bad, but none of them proves that you have lost meaningful body fat. And to lose body fat, you need an appropriate calorie deficit applied consistently over time, and a progress system that looks at trends, measurements, photos, clothing, strength, energy, and consistency, and so much more, not just today's scale number. Because your goal is not to trick the scale, it's to transform your body. There is a difference. And now that you know why the scale can drop without representing the body fat loss you expected, and if you are a woman over 35 who is tired of guessing, cutting harder, adding more cardio, and wondering whether the work you are doing is actually changing your body, comment base below or DM me base. I will help you understand what phase your body needs right now and what to focus on, so you can stop spinning your wheels and finally build a lean, strong, confident body that lasts. Because you do not need another random challenge. You need the right strategy at the right time for your body, and when you have that clarity, your effort finally starts paying you back. Now, before you go, let me know, what was your biggest takeaway? Which one surprised you the most? And remember, your scale is data, not a verdict. So stop chasing temporary drops and start creating changes you can see, feel, and maintain. Stop being in a calorie deficit all the time and start building your body. So when you go into a calorie deficit, you will see the changes more and you'll be less hungry and so many things. I need to talk more about calorie deficits. But yes, to lose weight, you do not need to start at a calorie deficit first. You will still lose the weight and the fat when you do the habits and foundations first, like drinking more water, eating more protein, getting more sleep, what else? Getting more steps in before you reverse diet, and you can already start seeing the scale drop doing those changes, right? Because that is how you build a body that looks strong, feels sexy, and actually reflects how hard you have worked. So, I will see you on the next slide, and if you are tired of guessing, cutting harder, adding more cardio, and wondering whether the work you are doing is actually changing your body, comment base below or DM me base, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!